Okay. Right, so I've got a shit ton of uni work to be doing and proper videos that I actually want to make. But then we got the news about YouTube Red and I want to talk about it because I am worried. I'm mostly worried about it from a creator's point of view. Now, I'm aware that I'm far too small to be earning money yet, but I would like to be able to one day, and I'm also concerned for other creators, of course. So if you're wondering why I'm talking about this issue when it really doesn't affect me yet, that's why. Now, when I first heard about YouTube Red, I was very angry. I was extremely worried because even the initial things that I was seeing were looking very negative. I've done a lot of research. I've really tried to get an unbiased view. Bearing that in mind, I'm actually going to start this video off talking about the good points. Firstly, I would direct you to Hank Green's video. I'll link it somewhere. He seems mostly positive, mostly supportive of the idea. I certainly agree. There definitely needs to be better systems in place for supporting creators. I want, as a user, to be able to support my favourite creators better, and I feel that many people feel like that. Definitely a move in the right direction. It's also nice. We're moving towards it sort of feeling respected like a traditional media. We pay for film and TV and books and stage and whatever else, and by putting YouTube on the same level, you're sort of saying, yes, YouTube actually is worthy of respect and it is of the same calibre as other art mediums. Of course, whether we should judge a art form's value according to whether we can charge money for it is definitely a debate I don't want to get into today. From a user's perspective, YouTube Red also sounds pretty great. No ads. Nobody likes ads. Having offline playback, and that's pretty cool. And being able to use other apps at the same time. The app and the features of it are undeniably a good idea. That's not really that surprising that it's a good product. However, I am mostly concerned for smaller creators. YouTube will want people to sign up, and one of the ways they're doing this is enticing people with exclusive content for members only. Obviously, this exclusive content is only going to be being made by bigger YouTubers. Obviously, they're going to be using bigger YouTubers to draw in the fans that they already have, but not only will YouTube be making exclusive content with bigger YouTubers and not smaller ones, they will also have a focus on the exclusive content. The algorithms will continue and possibly even more viciously favour bigger YouTubers. They'll say, look at this video, look at this video, look at this video, because they want you to watch that YouTuber, like that YouTuber, then pay money to watch the exclusive content of that YouTuber. This means that the algorithm will massively sideline smaller YouTubers. We've already got a massive problem. Just take a look to the side. Wait, am I pointing to the right side? It might be that side. Whichever side it is. If you look to the side of this video and the videos that it's recommending next to my videos, I greatly suspect that an awful lot of them will be links to videos of YouTubers with much more views. Fair enough, you know, it's how it works, unfortunately. So it's understandable, but we already have a problem with the algorithm not helping small creators, and that's only going to get worse with the temptation of exclusive content. Another concern from a creator's point of view is that the payments are pretty unclear. I think there's a massive attitude of we'll wait and see how the payments work out. That's worrying. Hank explains this a lot better, but basically the amount of time that a YouTube Red user watches a creator, proportionally the amount of money from the subscription will go to that creator. But particularly for small YouTubers, it's not sure if the money coming from the YouTube Red subscription will be sufficient to supplant the ad revenue. There was one point that Hank made about people watching smaller YouTubers will be more dedicated YouTube fans, and therefore people who are more likely to have a YouTube Red subscription, which is a fair point. However, that's relying on a substantial number of people getting this YouTube Red system. Now, admittedly, the ad revenue is just pittance, but there is some concern. Some of the articles that I'll link below talk about, is it going to be enough? For example, I'm quoting from one of the articles, I'll link it. Kinkle? I don't know how to say his name. It's Kyncl. Like, where are the vowels? I don't know how to say that name. Anyway, he's like business editor, chief, something like that. He has said, quote, that YouTube will pay out the vast majority of revenue to creators. Now, I would like to believe that, but the problem is, as far as we can tell, it's going to be 55% of the YouTube Red subscription fee is going towards creators, which obviously is the majority, not the vast majority, though, is it? And it's also a lot less than Spotify and Apple Music. They're about 70%, I think. And we know how much people complain about Spotify and Apple Music not giving enough money to the original artists. However, I'd say the main thing that really flags up a massive warning is the way YouTube has gone about putting in this deal. It is completely true that YouTube said, if you don't sign up to the YouTube Red deal, then we will private your videos and no one will be able to watch them. It was literally sign it or go. And that is incredibly manipulative. What are they going to force next? Are they going to force certain bigger creators to make exclusive content even if they didn't want to? Are they going to change the deal and just say, oh, well, you know, deal with it or go? And changing platforms isn't as easy as people think. People are always like, oh, well, if we don't like YouTube, we can just hop over to Dailymotion or something. No, it's not as easy as that. If you think about it, you've got to move an entire audience. You've got no content. Moving platform is really not the easy solution that people seem to think it is. From a user perspective, there are also some massive problems with YouTube Red. A very cliquey and hierarchy fan base that this would create. The people who can't afford to pay subscription would feel inferior. You know, they're not able to watch their favourite creators' content. They're not supporting their creator as much as they should. And so it's going to feel like there are certain fans that are going to feel better than others, and how that would work out for the creator or the inter-fan relationships, I don't know. That's not good. We don't want to have a hierarchy when it comes to fans. What's good about YouTube is that everyone is equal, everyone has access to YouTube, and everyone can enjoy it simultaneously. Also, offering exclusive content is manipulative. You know, it makes it sound great. It's exclusive. The problem is the vast majority of YouTube's fans are young. Therefore, manipulating them with exclusive content that they have to pay for is pretty mean. They're going to be impressionable. It's all well and good saying, oh, they have the choice, they don't have to pay. But the fact is, have you ever met a fangirl? We want to see this content, and we like our favourite creators for a reason. We want to see their stuff. And to say you can't see some of their stuff unless you're paying money, yes, it's a choice, but it's not a nice one. It's not a nice one at all. YouTube means so much to so many people. You don't have to do a lot of research to find people who feel that YouTube has saved their lives. I could even say I'm one of them. YouTube means so much to me. So if I was forced to make the choice of engaging with content that I want to see, but not having the money for it, that's a disgusting, manipulative choice that YouTube is forcing onto young people who probably don't have a lot of spare money. That's a really big problem. And of course, you could argue that you have to pay for things in life. Just because you're a really big fan of an actor doesn't mean that you get to see the film for free. This is where tradition does come into play, because with films, traditionally, you pay to go see them. But the whole point and premise of YouTube is that it is free. Another point for users is it really worth it? It's pretty expensive. $9.99 a month works out $120 a year. You can get for a lot of things for $120. There's things that you can spend money on with YouTube that are a lot more tangible. For example, merch. You can actually hold a thing that your favourite creator has made, getting a lot more out of your money than just not having ads. So it's pretty expensive for a user base that are mostly young and not earning money. And so you could argue it's worth it because you're supporting the creators. However, Hank actually says, if the only reason you would get YouTube Red is to support your creators, don't bother. It's not worth it. You'd be better off doing Patreon or crowdfunding or buying their merch. So that really makes it feel not very worth it at all. It really is true that I think that YouTube Red is very dangerous for the general ethos of YouTube. It's putting a clamp down on accessibility. It's putting a hierarchy. It's making it elitist. It's saying you can only watch certain content if you pay, if you have the money. And I, like many other people, I'm sure, believe that the core content should always be free. Things like merch, tours, maybe music EPs, you know, all sort of the extra stuff. It's moving away from YouTube. Therefore, I don't feel it has to be free. But in terms of the core video content of YouTube, to make that elitist is really taking away what makes YouTube special, in that it is always accessible for everyone. Yes, of course, having exclusive content through YouTube Red does mean that the content could be that much better. It has better funding, so on and so forth. But I think that many people would rather support the individual projects. So you can look at people like Luke Is Not Sexy's film, Oscar's Hotel by Kick the PJ. They've done fine. That's just 2 examples. There are so many examples. I think most people would feel a lot more comfortable supporting the independent projects that people wanted to make if they wanted to make bigger production. And then, of course, there's the question of, is YouTube Red even going to be that successful? Considering the divide it's going to make in the community in terms of elitism and in terms of people generally not wanting to pay for something that they've had for free for years, is YouTube Red even going to be that worth it? As a lot of people have pointed out, who's going to pay for an ad-free service when you can just download an ad block? I don't use an ad block. I'm used to watching the ads. I really don't mind personally. But even if somebody really has that much of a vehement hate against ads, there's an ad block. Why would you pay £10 to not have ads. And this is what I'm saying, even if you argue that, well, you're also supporting the creators, we're not sure how much it's going to really support the creators and how effective it's going to be as a system. I follow a lot of YouTubers on Twitter, unsurprisingly. I was expecting them to blow up about it, talking about it, but they're not. The bigger creators are staying mostly stum. There are some that have spoken about it. Jodie Clark was saying that she was scared of it. Emma Blackery came out in defence of it, but even she had reservations. Even Hank Green, he's high up there, he knows what he's talking about, and he is going, we're not sure how this is going to work out, if it's going to work out better for creators or not. That's worrying. As of filming this video, we are 4 days away from the release of YouTube Red in America. And people don't know what's going on. When you're as small as me, it's very hard to understand what's going on up in the big stratospheres of YouTube. So if they're clueless, people like me and the users, we don't have a chance. And therefore, I can't help but think, if it was so good, wouldn't all of the creators be coming out in its praise? They should have heard about it, and they should be coming out in praise of it, but they're not. They're staying suspiciously silent. And those who are talking about it are still talking about it with reservations. So I'm worried. So you're probably saying, okay, Izzy, you've got so many criticisms of this system. What do you suggest? It's tricky. I'm not going to deny. It's very, very difficult. As something that is free at consumption, how do you then help the creators? It almost seems like an impossible conundrum. I think possibly the best way of doing it is having systems in place to support independent projects or independent creators. We've seen it work. People who have wanted to crowdfund films or whatever. I can imagine the individual viewer would go, okay, I'm going to give this smaller creator more money because they're smaller and therefore they don't have as much support. Whereas big creators, people are more likely to go, oh, well, they're really big, they don't need my support, I won't give them any money. Which means that it will balance out a lot more. I don't know if that would actually be the case if we had some kind of independent system. I just don't feel that this system is going to be that advantageous. When I first heard about it all, I was incredibly worried for smaller creators. It seemed like it was not going to work out as a good deal. Upon doing research, it might not be as bad as I initially thought, but I do still have my reservations. Another thing I've just realised that I forgot to talk about, I think, but I'm really not entirely sure, and this is what I mean about creators being clueless. No one knows, or it doesn't seem very clear at least, whether the money that a person pays towards YouTube will go directly to the people that they watch, or whether the total revenue from YouTube Red subscriptions will then be divided amongst paid creators. First option, that's pretty good. You are directly supporting the creators that you watch and you like. If it's the whole total revenue distributed amongst paid creators thing, that means your money is going to people that you might not want the money going to. It's an unfortunate truth that there are people on YouTube who are not people I would want to be supporting. And if my money started going to them, I wouldn't be happy with that. And I don't think many people would. Okay, my camera just died at some point during that. I don't know when, so I'm going to take that as a sign to shut the hell up and conclude this video. So, I would be really interested to find out what other people think about this. It's definitely a discussion that people on YouTube need to be having. We shouldn't let this just happen and not criticise it. If you're a creator, do you think this is going to affect you? What do you know about it? Do you feel clueless as many people seem to feel? If you're just a viewer, are you going to get YouTube Red? Do you feel that you want to support your creators more? I realise that I don't have many subscribers and I'm probably not going to be able to get much of a discussion going, but if you're watching this, do let me know. I would genuinely be really, really interested to see what people have to say, and if you have any more information about this whole thing, then do let me know. So anyway, this was a bit of a slot-in video. This was not on my schedule. This is my uni room, by the way. Welcome to my uni room. I'm going to make a proper video, so if you're already subscribed, normal content will resume soon, do not worry. I feel a bit awkward doing the normal subscriber spiel, because who knows, we might all be on Dailymotion by next year. Much more coherent and better made videos will be coming very soon. Goodbye. Please shut up. I'm finally discovering what it's like to film in London.